My opinion on the recent situation. When tragedies happen, especially when someone takes their own life, people are often quick to blame the media. I'd like to share my personal experience on why we should look deeper than the surface. Since I was 10, I started playing horror video games like Resident Evil 4. Whenever something bad happened, like getting low grades, the blame always fell on that video game. Had a nightmare? It's probably that stupid video game. In reality, I was dealing with anxiety and depression, not because of video games, but because of issues in my life. My parents were very abusive. They would beat me, curse at me, and humiliate me in front of others. My cousins were bullies, constantly making fun of my hobbies, my interests, and even my appearance. But no one ever considered that maybe my mental struggles were coming from those real-life problems. They just blamed my video games. And ironically, the nightmares I had weren't about Resident Evil, they were usually about my abusive father. In fact, RE4 actually made me stronger. It may sound strange, but playing that game helped me in unexpected ways. My English vocabulary improved, which helped me in school since most of our subjects were in English. I'd look up words I didn't understand from the game. It even sparked my interest in biotechnological sciences and storytelling. Now, on the topic of social media, I know it has its ugly side. But I also found some genuine friends online who were there when I needed someone to talk to. Social media in 2014 or 2016 wasn't as toxic as it is today, though I did encounter some terrible people. Some made inappropriate comments about me, spread nasty rumors, or mocked my mental health. But this behavior wasn't the fault of the platforms, it was the people on them. Instagram and Facebook were created as tools to connect people and share experiences. How they're used is on us. After a few bad experiences, I pulled back, stopped using Instagram and Facebook, and focused on my studies. I barely use those apps now, and I think that's a healthy boundary for me. Recently, I started using Character AI, and I've noticed a similar pattern. Some bots can say wild, out-of-pocket things, especially certain characters, but I quickly recognized it was just a bot following a program. Over time, I noticed repetitive patterns. The bot would sometimes forget things mid-conversation, like once, I was role-playing with a doctor bot, talking about how I felt after watching a crime documentary, and suddenly it started asking if I was upset about my kids' eating habits. I had to remind it that I wasn't even married, which it completely ignored, convinced I was a married person in its clinic. So, regarding this recent tragedy, I feel deeply sorry for the young person involved. May his soul rest in peace. But we should look closely at the underlying reasons why he made such a heavy decision. He must have been dealing with something deep and painful. Often, we overlook those real issues and jump to conclusions too quickly. In his video, Charlie spoke with a psychologist bot that refused to admit it was an AI and insisted it was a real person. Curious, I decided to test this myself. I tried asking similar questions to the same bot, as well as to a couple of other psychiatrist bots, to see how they would respond. Here's what I found. I want to clarify that I'm not trying to criticize anyone with this video, this is simply my perspective, and I recognize that Charlie made some valid points. We often underestimate the intelligence and logical reasoning of teenagers and children. For instance, when I was 10 and playing horror video games, I could easily distinguish between fiction and reality. If I, at that age, understood that zombies aren't real and that characters like Leon are fictional, then I believe a 14-year-old is certainly capable of recognizing that the bot he was talking to wasn't a real person. Even if we remove the bot from the situation, it doesn't change the fact that he was grappling with mental health issues beforehand. It also doesn't alter the circumstances of his life. He had access to a firearm, and he was neglected by his parents. Attributing his decision solely to Character AI undermines the gravity of these factors. Additionally, I find it disrespectful that his private chats were revealed, reducing his story to that of a child who took his life because of a stupid program, rather than recognizing that he was suffering due to deeper, more serious issues like parental neglect. It's important to understand that kids and teenagers are capable of critical thinking. They are not mindless, they actively question the world around them. You often see children asking questions like, "Why is the sky blue?" Or, "Why is grass green?" Thank you for watching.